Hey guys, it's POSTBOXPAT and welcome back to a new video, and today I want to address the idea of knowing how to use the map, knowing where to land, knowing how to use coordinates, and knowing how to call out people on your direction, like which direction they're in on your compass. Now, it's something I've noticed when playing on squads by searching for squads or like joining people's random squads, that people don't 100% understand exactly how it works. Now, it's not as easy as you think, and I will go over that in this gameplay now. Now, this is actually going to be a live commentary gameplay, so if anything does happen where I die and stuff, which will be happening a few times, I'm going to go over exactly what's going to be happening. So I probably will keep dying and stuff, and we will just try and go to locations where no one is, maybe at like a spot where no one is and that. But yeah, I've just repeated myself. But there, we're going to go to the same spot every single time. We're going to try and find a spot where no one is and try and explain exactly what we're going to do. So the map is actually split up into 14 sections. You've got 7 across the top and 7 down the side. If you notice that some of the sections are completely useless, like G7 there at the bottom, which is a completely useless section because near enough all is water. But a good way of calling out enemies or finding or talking about where to go is using the names of stuff. So for example, right now we want to go somewhere where it's pretty quiet, so we're going to think of going G5. And this is something I want to talk about in the video as well, the direction in which the bus is coming in and knowing where to land, and I will talk about that in a moment. But for now, let's focus on coordinates and calling out. So we've got the basic coordinate system down. You always read the letter across the top first and then read down, and once you get that right, you can read out exactly where you want to go and kind of just talk about it in your team. You don't really use that for dropping in because obviously you've got markers and stuff, but the thing with that, you can say if there's a spot that doesn't have a name, for example, like the dirt track over here that I call it. Many people call different spots differently. For example, prison, I know some people call that different names. I also know people call factories here a different name, and there's loads of different places which people call different names. I always call Top of Wailing Woods. I always call this bit the Top of Wailing Woods. Other people call it like the sniper, like the tower or something, I'm not too sure. People call this second farm. People call everything different, so sometimes it's good to know the exact coordinates. So you got like E2 there. I always go F2 and G2 there. They're two really good spots to go. But for now, for this video, we're going to try and stay away from people and just try and talk about exactly what... Oh, there's someone right in front of me. So let's try and cut away from him and maybe go up here. We're probably in quite an awkward situation really because we really need to take him out. And I've got no sound because I'm not recording with sound for this one, so I'm going to probably struggle to take this guy out. But let me just try and demonstrate exactly what I mean by this. Now, I'll grab these weapons in, we'll get out of here and show exactly what I'm trying to explain with this coordinate stuff, and then we'll talk about the map as well. So what I'm trying to get at is the idea of calling out where players are. So let me just build a ramp up here and get out of here and get somewhere safe away from this guy, because we don't really want to engage in any combat with him, just because I really can't be bothered doing any... Oh, he's right there, he's right there. We can try doing a little bit of combat here, but we probably won't be able to kill him. No, we've missed our shots badly. Oh, we got a good shot off there, triple shot on him. Get some more shots off, maybe. Oh, nice. Okay, so that's that guy down. Nicely done. It's my first game on as well, so that's a pretty good surprise. But anyway, let me talk exactly what I'm trying to get into with this. So at the top, you can see you've got south, southeast, east. Look at the top of my screen there, where you've got all the different coordinates. Now, something that I want to talk about that's relating to these is the direction where you're looking at players. This mainly comes into where squads is. So this really helps out in a squad game mode and can really be useful if you're new to the game, or you just want a bit more depth on exactly how this sort of stuff works, because it definitely does really help out. So let's do this as an example. Let's use this boogie bomb as an example. So for example, if my squad were all at this house apart from one squad member that was at that tree, let me demonstrate exactly what I mean by this. So if I'm stood by this house, near enough by the house now, you're actually looking in the direction of about 105 for the boogie bomb. But if you notice, when you come over to this tree over here, if you say, like, if you're over there and you suddenly shout out, guys, there's an enemy at 105, bear in mind the guy at this tree over here either is going to be a complete numpty, should I say, which I do myself many times, and you will look in 105, which you'll be looking out at the sea. But really, the direction of the boogie bomb for this guy over here is actually about north, in between north and 345. You can see it up there. So you can see how the direction changes from the point of view you're at. And the reason I'm trying to address this problem is so that people know when they're calling out coordinates and stuff, or calling out the location of people where they are, you have to be able to think about other people as well. If you're all running in the same direction, so say if we're all running up this hill and the enemy's on that bush up there, we can just we're all running over here and we're all running together in the same direction, then you can call out that location, for example, the bush up there, which would be about 285. So it's just a pretty easy example of understanding exactly how that works. It's quite an easy concept as well, and it's not too difficult to understand. You've just got to know where other people are and understand how what their point of view is and estimate what it might be. So if I was stood by the house and I was looking at the boogie bomb from here, like I said, it's about east or about 105, say about 105. But if I know my mate's there by the tree, I'm going to say to him, look about north. So you know that's direction north on the map because you're looking up north. So I'd say to him, for me it's east, but for you it's north. Or I'd go, there's a guy at 105 for us, but for you it might be north. And you just kind of got to understand that. And it does take a while to get used to, and it took me a while. But you can also kind of look on your map as well, because whichever way your arrow's facing, it also gives a clue. So look at the top right on my map. Your maps, if you're facing to the right, you know your east, you're facing up forward, you know your north. You can kind of use that map as well to help you out do that. So, for example, if you're shooting at an enemy which is up by that tree over there, which is west, I know if my friend stood over there by that tree, the angle of that is probably going to be around northwest. So you'd be able to call out northwest about 300 for your teammate. And just learning that sort of concept and trying to get that in your mind. For example, that supply drop there right now that we can see coming down is at 330. We'll try and tag that if we can. Oh, I don't think we're going to be able to with the ARs at that range. But we got 330 with that coming down there. But if I was stood over there, you'd have to think maybe it's probably about 30 for your team member if they're stood over there. So you've just... no, maybe not 30, sorry. Yeah, about 30. If they're stood over there, it'll be about north-ish, 30. You've just got to kind of work out where things are and just estimate it and get it right. Estimate it and get it right for your team members so they know exactly how to do certain things in certain situations. It really can come in handy if your team knows on what they're doing and understanding the concept of that. So that's that out the way. That's something I just really wanted to address. It's something that I think does get in the way quite a lot, and it needs to just kind of be understood a little bit better. Let's talk a little bit more about the direction of the bus coming in. I'm just going to sit in a bush for this because there's not really much point in me hiding anywhere, so I'm just going to sit in the bush and just talk about it on this map. So this is something I really like to talk about. Let's just use my marker. If you didn't know, you can press in the left trigger, or L2, I think it would be on PlayStation. I'm not sure it would be on PC, to remove the marker. Now, this is something I'd like to talk about with direction of the bus and also with coordinates. For example, if you know a bunch of enemies are up here and you've got the time, you can easily go on your map and select. This is what I used to do, especially in playing squads when I was leading the squad. I'd put a marker roughly where the enemies are, maybe if it's a smaller circle, and then you can use your coordinate thing at the top to actually understand. You can use your compass at the top to understand exactly which direction people are in. So if someone's over here, that blue marker is still going to be in that. See how the blue marker's moving as I move? The blue marker actually moves along as I move. That's a very easy way of marking players if you've got the time to do it, or maybe a group of players, or maybe a base or something. And it's something that can definitely help out your team if they're not very experienced with the compass. That's that out of the way. Let me just talk about the bus coming in and understanding that as well. Now, the bus can come in near enough at any single spot on the map, and it's kind of crucial to understand exactly where the bus is coming in. If the bus is coming in along this line here, around D and E, in between D and E, if it's coming in down through here, you know it's going to be quite an awkward spot to kind of jump out of, because everyone's going to be either going left or right, east or west, or west or east, depending on which way you want to say it. But most people will be going either left or right, and you've got to kind of know exactly where to jump out. You could also get the bus coming in from the right hand side, going across towards the east, which is kind of frustrating. And the best buses, personally, are the ones that cut in through, like, say, down here, down near enough to more to the east side or more to the west side, so you've got longer dives. You can also get the tight buses sometimes, which cut really tight west, so they might go along coordinates 1, and then you know you've got all the map to the long dive. But the middle buses are the ones that you need to kind of watch out for, because that's when you need to analyze how many people are jumping out the bus, watch it and think, do you think most people have jumped out yet? You probably estimate roughly, you can't get it a bang on, but you can estimate how many people have jumped out and see how many people are going to be in the last destinations. That's very crucial for a middle destination bus, especially if your bus is coming through, if your bus is coming through the middle, you need to be able to do that. And it just really does help out, get you guys kind of like a win situation if you understand exactly how that works. So I know I'm being really newbie on this gameplay, but this is a live commentary, so I thought, we got very lucky and we've stayed alive, and it's been quite a good situation. And I think I've near enough explained everything I can go through that is really crucial to understand exactly how the map works. Keep in mind the coordinates are very useful as well. For example, if the circle has moved, you could say right now the circle has moved to roughly F5, F4, or E5, E4. That's where you want to go. Or you could be talking to your team on squads and be like, should we go to top left-hand, bottom left-hand corner of F4, so people know that that's there. It's an easy way of describing a location, and you could easily say that. You could also put a marker down, which is 10 times easier, but maybe, for example, if your marker may be used to mark something else. My marker might be marking someone's base, and I'm trying to describe maybe we're assaulting a base or approaching a base, and we want to keep it on our coordinate thing, but we also want to describe something else. And obviously you can't use two markers, so sometimes you have to leave a marker there and then talk about this as coordinates. So it's just little things like that that can really help in squads and duos. In solo, it's really not very useful at all. I usually just think about it in my head, and you don't really, everything for yourself, you don't really need to call out stuff for yourself, but it can help a little bit. The coordinates, the marker on the map one is probably the best for solo. I used to use that a lot, but as I got to know my way around the map, I stopped using it. Sometimes I might use it to mark a base or mark a supply drop or something. You can easily do stuff like that with it. For example, that supply drop over there, which has probably been taken now. I have got my sound off, so I can't hear it, but it's probably been taken. I could have marked that supply drop around here or something, saying there's a supply drop coming down around there. And it can be very useful for your team to move up to, and just get used to using the markers. It's very easy to use. Use the map. If you don't know how to get the map up, you just basically press the back button, which is I don't know the exact name for the button, but that's the button it is. It's the one by the home on the Xbox, and I think on the PlayStation you just press the big pad. I'm not 100% sure exactly what you do, but I think it might be. I don't know. I don't have a PlayStation 4, but it's pretty simple to do, and once you get used to it, I think it's something that everybody should consider. And it should be considered wisely, because it is a brave thing to do, and it's something that if you get the hang of it, you've probably got a good chance at winning on Fortnite. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. You can take however you like to this idea of my coordinate kind of understanding. I think definitely my bush camping in this gameplay is because I am commentating live. I don't usually do a lot of bush camping, but it is something that everyone does, so let's just take it like that. You can also notice that bushes are actually sometimes marked on the map. They're not always, these are trees actually marked on the map, but sometimes there might be, for example, not 100% bushes, but like trees and stuff, and you do get a few bushes marked there and then where trees might be, and you can actually call out them or even put a pinpoint on them if you want to. The pinpoint is quite hard to get exact, but you can learn it, and bushes aren't 100% marked, but some of them are the ones by trees and stuff. Say for example this tree here has a bush by it, you could easily mark that and you'd be able to find out whereabouts it is on the map pretty easily, if you get what I mean. So hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe. Tell me if this has helped you out in victories for you, or maybe it might help you out in your squads. Maybe you want to direct this video to one of your squad members who doesn't understand this too well. If you know some people who are quite newbie at the game, or maybe very new. When I say newbie, it means new to the game and don't understand everything exactly. It's a very useful video to show them, and I think it's definitely worth showing your friends if you're trying to play squads. So share this video with your squad or the people you usually play with on Fortnite. I hope you guys have enjoyed today's video, and once again, leave a like, comment, subscribe, and this is POSTBOXPAT signing out.